So the hydrovane has now got a nice new cover, all well done. I actually did that late last night, but that's ready to be put in place when I finally take off. Finally take off for the Marquesas as the start of my Pacific crossing. So that should see good use, very good use. They work really, really well. Well, we've definitely been making progress on clearing up a bit. One side of the boat is looking pretty good. Got a little bit more sorting out on the other side. It's not too bad actually, probably not as bad as it looks. And the eggs are getting turned daily, so making sure that they are keeping well. And yep, been up on deck, sorted out a few things up there. And I think it's about time to relax and get some food, have a glass of wine maybe. And the fridge is just keeping things cool but not quite cold enough. But I'm hoping to see a fridge guy on Monday about that. Well, I have to say it's going to be very, very nice to be able to sit down at on the couch and have my meal tonight in a civilized manner, other than going up on deck, of course, which I might well do because it's actually cooler up there. It's not bad, but it's been pretty humid today. I love these Mexican squeezers. They make it so easy and so effective to squeeze the lime juice over the salad. There's green olive oil already in there with some salt, so we're doing this a kind of a Greek style salad dressing. Okay, here's the other half of the lime, just being squeezed out. And actually in the background I've got the Pacific Voyager's net just started up, so you might be able to hear Cambria, who's net control tonight. On going up on deck a little bit later, there was a beautiful crescent moon with Venus above, absolutely glorious. And it was really lovely sitting up on deck in the cool of the night. Well, it's Sunday and gone midday from the chart plotter here. You can see take off 6 hours. We're at 10 minutes past midday and the wind is clearly not yet up. I'm waiting. I've been clearing up everywhere. I've got a lovely clean chart table. Put my logbook on there ready to set up, and everything's neat and tidy. I've been making sure that everything, well, coffee I'm still in the middle of, but everything has been taken off any surfaces that it might fall off. I'm likely to put some of those things on the cabin sole because obviously if they're already on the sole on the floor, they can't fall any further. And I'm expecting reasonably calm conditions. Say the wind hasn't come up yet. I've made sure that the seacocks are both off. I've cleared up in the galley so I can turn that seacock off, and yeah, put the olive oil in on the gimbaling stove so that won't fall over. I'll probably put some of those things that I've just washed up away. And yeah, it's a bright sunny day, but no sign of any wind as yet. So we still have 5 knots of wind from the northwest. Okay, so we'll see, hopefully that wind will start coming up soon. The one thing I didn't want to do was get going without having made sure that all the lockers were tightly shut, were locked, closed, because if you do get a bit of, I mean, it could just be from a motorboat going by without thinking, and suddenly you get washed and the whole boat tips over, heels over like mad both ways, and suddenly things can fling open. So if lockers come open, they lose their contents, and that is a real pain. So I've got now making sure the lockers are closed, turn off the seacocks, and just generally have a look and see if we get into that situation, what can fall down, can I stop that happening. About to make the entry in the logbook for getting going today, and I've got no entry there for Saturday. I'll just make a note that nothing much happened. And the one thing I forgot to mention was that when I was dealing with the asymmetric spinnaker on deck yesterday afternoon, I managed to lose my sunglasses into the sea, another gift to Neptune. He's had so many gifts from me. Anyway, so I'm really pleased that recently in San Diego I bought 2 more pairs of sunglasses, and I also have a damaged pair here that have lost one arm. Well, I've got the arm, but it's not connected, so that's a real backup. So yeah, we'll get the sunglasses out and make sure we're ready to go as and when that wind comes up. It's still only reading 5.5 knots from the west at the moment. So here's the galley seacock about to be closed. Cleaned the area below there as well, around there, so that I know that's all nice and clean at this point in time. So another job done, another important job done before any passage. So here we've got some rather nice whipping twine, very fine but strong, and I've decided I'm going to tie my new sunglasses on with using that. At least have a big loop so that if it falls off my head as I'm leaning over, it'll just end up dangling around my neck and not in the sea. Well, it's 1:25 and the wind is clearly not going to get up that strongly, or certainly not at the moment. It's only around 7 knots, occasionally getting up to 8 and dropping back down again to just over 6. But I think I'll get underway, just have a gentle sail up to Cruz, to the anchorage there. It's 1 or 2 hours, depending on how fast I go. It's not very far. So we'll just get going, raise the anchor and raise the mainsail, leave the main sheet loose, and then get underway. Well, we've got the preventer on, we're going downwind. Not very much wind though, about 7 knots, maybe 8 at times, and 6 other times. So this is going to be a bit of a slow trip to La Cruz. So that's roughly where we were anchored, and there's Punta de Mita itself, the actual point. Quite a lot of reef around the point, have to be very careful to keep well off it. We're lucky if we're making 3 knots, but that's okay. We have several hours to go, not very far. I think it's time for lunch. Very lazy Sunday afternoon this is going to be. Well, I thought I'd try out my new Scanstrap mount. It's a suction mount on my hard top, on my above the companionway, looking forward for a change, and thought I'd try it out. It's a very sturdy fitting. It's a suction mount onto the hard top, and then a very easy clip-on fitting above that, which beautifully holds the iPhone that I'm using as my camera in place. So we'll get a view of the view forward as we go along. Just gently rocking, but not a lot happening, going very slowly. Well, we've got dolphins by us. I just saw 2 come up, caught my eye. And it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we're on port tack. There's one over there. Obviously there must be fish around. The birds are getting quite excited as well. I'm getting quite close to the anchorage now, about 10 minutes or so. I'll have to down the sails. I'm deliberately going off to one side of the anchorage so I can down the sails and then... Definitely got dolphins for company. up a little bit, about 12 knots maybe, so we're making a reasonable speed around 5. A little under, so that's a bit better. The AIS is going mad, beeping, because there's so many boats around ahead of us. A good distance away, but all showing their transmitting. And so I'm being told, oh, you're going to collide, but we're fine. A bit annoying to have it going off all the time. So here's one of several that came out of the water beside Narida. And another, in fact, I wondered if they were pilot whales. They were quite big and very dark. Problem is, you never know when they're going to come up. And invariably, when they do come up, you're looking somewhere else, or the camera's pointing somewhere else. Pleasant sail, and the dolphins are a definite bonus. So it's 7:10. We got here, I think, about almost exactly 5 o'clock. I finished anchoring, and I've just finished putting everything away. The sail is covered and the lines, so it takes a time, but the wind has died down and it's very pleasant. Sunset now, very, very pleasant. I think it's time to have a little glass of wine and some food.